The New Jersey Devils made a big jump last season, and they look to take another step ahead in 2023-2024. Trey Matthews of Locked On Devils joins us to discuss all things Devils next on the Locked On NHL 2023-2024 season preview. Gil Martin here. The NHL season is less than a week away, and Locked On season preview coverage continues as we welcome in Trey Matthews of Locked On New Jersey Devils to detail everything you need to know about the Devils ahead of the 2023-2024 season. Trey, what's the biggest storyline surrounding the Devils as we get ready for the new season?
I'd say the biggest storyline for them is to try to build on their already successful 2022-2023 season, because that was a historic year for them in which they broke the franchise record for most wins, and they had a successful playoff run. They got up past the first round against the New York Rangers, but now can they repeat it? Obviously, it's hard to top a historic season, but can they maintain the consistency of now being a playoff caliber roster, because they're no longer the underdogs. They are fully expected to go back to the playoffs and try to continue to do what they did from last season. So I'd say the biggest storyline is just, can they remain that consistent and try to rack up the wins and see themselves back into the Stanley Cup playoffs? And this time, can they actually be legitimate Stanley Cup contenders?
And what was the biggest offseason move the Devils made, and why?
You know, I would have to say Tyler Toffoli. However, they did retain a lot of key assets, including Jesper Bratt, Timo Meier. But in terms of a splashy move, I would say it was Tyler Toffoli, because Tom Fitzgerald is a very smart general manager, because he traded away pending restricted free agent Yegor Sharangovich. Let's face it, Sharangovich wasn't going to have a big role with the Devils this upcoming year. After the Timo Meier trade, he was utilized less and less, but Sharangovich is still a young player with a lot of upside. He skates really well. He skates really fast. He was good on the penalty kill for the Devils, but his role was just diminishing by the second. So Fitzgerald made the smart move by trading him away to the Calgary Flames in exchange for Tyler Toffoli, because Toffoli said that while he wanted to remain with the Flames, the front office didn't really make any initiatives to try to hammer out an extension. So Fitzgerald took advantage of an opportunity, and now he has Tyler Toffoli added to his roster. And the thing about Toffoli is that he's a former Stanley Cup champion. He was a part of that 2014 LA Kings team, and he had a career year with Calgary just last season. And it seems like he's already forming great chemistry with the Devils, because he said that Jack Hughes was the most skilled player that he's ever played with, or one of them. And that's high praise from Toffoli, because like I said, he's won a Stanley Cup. He's played with the Montreal Canadiens. He's played with Calgary Flames. And he's played with a lot of good players, including a couple former Devils players. But at the same time, Toffoli just forming that chemistry, being the veteran leader, and he's having a very good preseason so far. I think he was definitely the biggest move of the offseason for Devils, because personally, nobody saw it coming.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Who figures to be the most important player on the Devils this season, and what makes him so crucial to the team's success?
Jack Hughes by and large, because last season he finished off with 43 goals, 56 assists for a grand total of 99 points. He appeared in 78 games. The key X factor for Hughes is, can he stay healthy? And he knows that a lot of people are going to be gunning for him. And I think one of the issues I had for Jack was his overall size. So he's got to try to use his speed to his advantage. But I think for Jack, he is the force that drives the engine for the Devils. I expect for him to become the first Devil player in franchise history to reach triple-digit points. So I expect for him to get 100 points. He was just 1 point shy, but I think he is definitely about to transition from Devils superstar to now NHL superstar, because even though he led the Devils in goals, assists, and points, he didn't even crack the top 5 amongst the entire NHL, which made it a little difficult for people to consider him to be a Hart Trophy finalist, despite leading the Devils to such a historic season. So my thing is, like, if he continues to build on it, and if he just transitions from Devils superstar to now NHL superstar, I think Jack Hughes is definitely the future of this league, albeit he has some stiff competition, but now he has to try to climb the ranks and try to get into the same category as Austin Matthews or Nate McKinnon, Leon Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and obviously the big one, Connor McDavid.
How about a potential breakout candidate? Any player, young player that you think people should know about?
Well, while we're on the topic of Hughes, let's turn to his little brother, Luke Hughes, because I did an episode recently on my channel saying that Luke could potentially give Connor Bedard a run for his money. And here are my components for that to happen, which is Luke, he already has NHL experience and he played well in the minuscule games he was given. So the final 2 regular season games, he definitely had an impact. In fact, he had one of the biggest goals for the Devils during the 2022-2023 season, in which he was able to get a wraparound goal in overtime in game 82 to clinch the victory for the Devils. Thus, they break the franchise record for most wins. And then in the playoffs, he was called upon and replace an injured Ryan Graves. He outperformed Graves, and as a result, Graves now plays for Pittsburgh, and now Luke Hughes is primed to have a big role. And speaking of big role, the offensive production has to come from someone on the blue line other than Dougie Hamilton, and I think Luke Hughes is the go-to guy in that regards, and I expect for him to have a big role on the power play. He's looked good on it so far in the preseason and also training camp workout sessions I've seen or heard about. And I think another thing is he's already forming that chemistry with his teammates. And so offensive production, he's bound to have a big surge. And I think he can definitely turn some heads. And also just the NHL experience. I think those are some key components as to why Luke Hughes could give Connor Bedard a run for his money. And according to the FanDuel Sportsbook odds, Luke has the second best odds of potentially winning the Calder. So if you were to put down a $5 wager and Luke ends up winning, you could potentially win $30.
Not bad. Not bad at all. What would a successful season look like for the Devils, and what's at stake if that's not achieved?
So, like I said, it's kind of hard to top a historic season because it's so unique. So I don't expect the Devils to get like 53 or 54 or 55 wins, but I think they should be in that same ballpark. So anywhere from 40 to 50 and just be a top contender in the Metro, that's a successful season because once again, it's hard to top a historic season and the bar's been set so high that you have to try to moderate your expectations just a little bit. So once again, don't expect the Devils to get 60 wins, but I expect for them to be anywhere from 40 to 50. That's a successful season, getting back to the playoffs and just trying to be a legit playoff team. That's what I'm hoping for.
And if that's not achieved this year?
Well, then I guess we're going back to the lottery, right? Or no, the San Jose Sharks might have a thing or two to say about that after the Timo Meier trade. But yeah, I guess bye-bye Lindy Ruff. I don't know. I don't really know. I haven't thought that far ahead, Gil. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's just so hard because people were projecting for them to be a lottery team going into the 2022-2023 season. And now these expectations have been set and the Devils miss the playoffs. I really don't know what will happen because it's just you have all those players like Jack, Jesper, Nico, Timo, Andre, Dougie, all signed to long-term deals. Dawson Mercer's due for another contract. Obviously, Luke Hughes is going to be the second year of his entry-level contract. So Shimon the Mets is projected to also have some sort of impact because he's been performing well in preseason. I really don't know, Gil. I couldn't tell you if they go back to their losing ways, then this is just the most bizarre couple years I've seen for the Devils. But I'm rather confident that they're going to get back to the playoffs if I had to bet my bottom dollar.
Yeah, sounds like you're very confident and understandably so. Trey, thank you so much. For more on the New Jersey Devils, be sure to follow Locked On Devils on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube so you never miss an episode. And check out the season previews for all 32 teams across the Locked On NHL channel, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.